Li Jin, who won the 2016 MSI Championship, is contemplating one thing: it's rare to get a chance to play by the SKT water dispenser. Where am I going to bring my talents this summer? Accepting Kkoma's retention or go play brother esports. The sons called him a bastard and said, a worthless Jin Emperor, a champion has no value. Someone said he was a koi. Where Li Jin goes, where is the champion? Some people also say he is the fierce tiger of the empire. Bang! He is a more precise output machine than me. Katie. The knowledge of koi is vast and profound, and I will devote my entire life to studying it. Water friends. Brother Koi, take us to the dance area to criticize again. The audience of the French dynasty bowed 90 degrees and apologized. I'm sorry, I've already finished drawing a bag of the Lotus King, but I still don't have the courage to face this man. Uzi. When I saw him, my blood pressure increased. Jin Dongjun said, I dug up a mysterious part of that man from Luoyang until 2014. Rat King. The secret to obtaining MVP is to forward that koi. Teacher Piao said, when I was standing by the Huangpu River and saw a koi swimming in the water, I knew something big would happen in the alliance. Numerous teams. Come back, my proud koi brother. Esports Senior. Li Gu is actually your Li Gu, that overlooked strength. What exactly happened in the blank 3 years? The eternal mystery of esports. Li Jin and his death notes. P.S. This article has nothing to do with coaching articles. Keywords of the novel. LOL. Koi Brothers Farewell Show. No pop-ups, LOL. Brother Koi, Goodbye Show. Download the complete TXT collection, LOL. Brother Koi's Farewell Show. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Welcome to collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Welcome to collection. The current progress of this book is S6 wins the championship, and S7 is currently playing in AD position in the new season. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Farewell, Cage. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 2. Farewell, Cage. Quantum Parallel World. On May 10, 2016, at midnight. In the double room of a hotel near the Crown of the Sea in the Magic City, a laptop with an internet cable was placed on a table, and a grayish-white scene appeared on it. Under the table, a deep brown solid wood floor filled with emotions was scattered with tissues. Duoduo, sitting at the table, Li Jin faced the screen, his right hand moving irregularly up and down, his body shaking as if he had hit a deadly rhythm, and his clothes making strange noises as they rubbed against each other. This thing is broken, blocked. Li Jin frowned slightly and raised his right hand, taking out a 3 ml bottle of Narcissus brand essential oil. The green bottle was sealed for half a day without any oil. Finally, as if a small bubble had burst, the essence of wind oil dripped onto Li Jin's hand. He rubbed it a little and applied it to his temples. A refreshing breeze swept over, relieving fatigue and making the brain clearer. Li Jin satisfactorily screwed on the lid, a method he had used since he was in school and had tried it repeatedly. Overnight rank, who can withstand the combination of technology and ruthlessness. Leaning against the chair, I was adjusting my state when a wave of silly babbling came from the next bed. I'll squat back and forth, Xianghe, I'm here. Li Jin turned his head and saw a chubby young man with a pot lid of the same style as 7 sauces. He wore black glasses and thick eyebrows. At this moment, he leaned against the bed and fell asleep. He took off his phone and hung it on his chest. This young man is a foolish chicken that can always be trusted by Li Guapi, who has achieved 2 SKT feats in the wilderness. Li Jin is currently a data analyst and assistant coach at SKT, and is in the same room as the clumsy chicken managing the water dispenser during the mid-season championship stage. He took a breath, rubbed his temples, and looked at the lamp on the ceiling, feeling quite emotional about his experience in 2023, he was originally a member of the EDG coaching staff, but was too shocked to be informed that Uzi was coming to the team. He accidentally knocked over a water cup and was electrocuted, returning to his professional career in 2013. From 29 years old to 19 years old. Just 10 years younger, with a system installed inside the body. I really can't get along with everyone as an ordinary person now. Li Jin smiled and checked the system in his brain. Ding. Welcome to log into the LOL Strongest God system. Note. The host requires 4 world.class champions to fully activate. Activation progress. March 4th. System status. Half open. Host. Li Jin. 2016 main positioning. Auxiliary. Corresponding strength. T0, world.class. Positioning enhancement techniques. Precise knife placement, sharp team opening, control skill prediction, and global perspective control. Current score. 777 points. Point source. Honor rewards and competitions. Winning 1 world.class and intercontinental competition earns 20 points, winning 1 regional league earns 10 points, and winning 1 top.level regional master level or above rank earns 1 point. Cross-border positioning frequency. 1 time. Each time cross-border positioning is consumed, it can bring the host's T0 level strength to any position. Current progress. 777/1000 points. Reminder 1. The host can fully activate the system to access more features. Reminder 2. For more information, please click here. Li Jin's gaming talent really doesn't rank high in the professional circle filled with strong players, but 10 years ago, his mind was overflowing with game understanding and version interpretation. My brain is strong, but my body is not very obedient. So he formulated a system activation plan and became a coach first. However, in 2013, the chaos of LPL began to unfold, with players taking the lead in their thinking. Coaches were mostly linked to activities such as ordering takeout and closing doors. Ambitious Li Jin communicated with several teams and made several attempts, but in the end, he was defeated by the harsh reality. To activate the system, he had to leave his hometown, and go to OGN to endure hardships. Li Jin found Kkoma and briefly discussed the version with him. Kkoma was stunned and said, "Woo, this person understands me, my close friend, Simida. It is natural to join SKT with the recommendation of Kkoma." In 2013, 2014, and 2015, Li Jin successfully won 3 world championships by repeatedly jumping horizontally between SKT and SSW. SKT and SSW can be considered angel investors who opened the system. Because he has always been an ordinary member of the coaching staff, Li Jin, who has been behind the scenes for many years, has little fame. Ask an ordinary audience, do you know the Jin? I guess this alliance audience will look confused. Who is the Jin? There are very few reports on him from the outside world, and in the eyes of many alliance audiences, the impression of Li Jin in the past 3 years is 99% blank. However, some professionals in the professional circle have started to pay attention to him. As soon as MSI finishes this time, his contract with SKT is about to expire. There are still the last 5 days. Li Jin woke up his phone for the nth time to check the date on it. SKT will win this year's MSI championship and his system will be fully launched. That's when he walked from behind the scenes to the stage. Thinking of this, my mood immediately surged. 3 years of hard work, mixed in the past. The daily routine of fishing, lying on the salary and tasting the courage, those who are trembling, afraid of being laid off, and managing the water dispenser are all about to pass. Farewell, this cage behind the scenes. Li Jin clenched his fist and his incredibly handsome face was filled with fighting spirit. This year is 2016, when there were a group of strong players at the World Cup. Should liver, hurry up and brush your points. The effect of Feng Yujing was overwhelming, and Li Jin immediately clicked on the next qualifying session. Meanwhile, Huya TV. Steadiness is Fangsi, master before dinner. In front of the screen, a bony defense tower is half sitting and half lying on a wheelchair like esports chair. The electric stick emits a fragrant fragrance in the mouth, and the live broadcast room is filled with a foul odor. From the 9-minute battle against Wild Wine Barrel and 3 Wolves, which indirectly caused him to be killed alone in the middle, until the game failure settlement interface, the horse of the wine barrel player in the game has already flown away on a flying swallow. When it comes to playing wild, I feel like NMB is outrageous. I always think about brushing your B3 wolves for something. How clumsy. I even want to play the Swona to send you away happily. This live broadcast room is like a toilet, and some viewers who view it with alternative perspectives are obviously accustomed to it. Hehe, the anchor unsubscribed long ago without criticizing people. Tell a joke, master before dinner. As soon as I opened it, there was a barrage of curses at you. I was so anxious that I shed tears. Why didn't I join in earlier? The stick is almost always in the Masters promotion tournament, square root times. Today, I asked the Zen Master how his skills were. The Zen Master pointed to the boiling kettle and I said it was boiling. The Zen Master said it was boiling. There are a lot of people watching, cursing, and mocking inside the barrage, and it's not a big problem. Don't just say you're silver segmented. The current stable stick is actually a bit of a skill when played well. The strong version of Riz used Riz to seriously score over 200 points in a day, once again reaching over 600 points, and of course, it quickly returned to Diamond 1. Natural talent, poor mentality, and a nerve knife. At present, the Masters promotion competition has become square root times, again. A good hand means playing poorly, seemingly even kneeling down. Spray back and forth, the electric stick still wants to play a high-level match against the faces of the blackheads. Twice leading YG into LPL, and twice falling out of class, is LPL's first elevator just a name for itself? Take a breath, click on the ranking selection middle order, and prepare to operate it well. There are many active players in Ionia, and Li Jin in the hotel entered the BP interface within a few minutes. Little seedlings, love book enthusiasts water them. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Fangsi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Fangsi. Trigger and select people quickly. Li Jin selected hammer stones to match with Lu Zian. Lock in the lineup. Blue square. Upper single Titan, Dano Qianjue, middle single Ruiz, lower Road Mouse plus Bud. Red side. Shangdan Saiyan, Danya Excavator, Zhongdan Bingnu, Xiaolu Luzian plus Hammerstone inside the hotel. Li Jin looked at the lineup on both sides and frowned lightly. Rank players are more inclined towards ultimate heroes in the upper division, which is a serious lack of damage in the later stage, and the rhythm in the early and middle stages is very important. He began adjusting his talent runes. S6 is a retro system, with only 2 pitiful pages of runes for players who are struggling. The dual stream and teleportation stream sound fashionable and professional. But usually the rune page of the mall requires 6,900 points, and during the event, buying with gold coins also requires 9,450 gold coins. Players also have to buy heroes, and the coins are always not enough to spend. There has been a bug incident where 1 gold coin and 1 page of rune were used, and many young players regretted discovering the bug after logging into the game after a slow startup. Some netizens also ask. After the argument, my girlfriend dissolved my runes in the internet cafe. What should I do? Li Jin's red, yellow, and blue runes are all limited by intel, luxurious and domineering. There are 3 types of talents. Ferocity, cunning, and determination. Hammer stone, stabilize the stubborn stone contract, Be more real as Thunderlord, now it is the Thunder era. Entering the loading interface, the Golden King border is cool and handsome, especially in the 2016 Ionia, where there are only 200 kings per million players, full of gold. This is his nickname, currently the strongest king of Ionia at 556 points. Ranked 156th. At the beginning of the season, De Hao was the king. At that time, Xian Go won 77 games with 268 points to win the first king. He even appeared on a king page with him, but now Xian Go is no longer on the same page as him. His De Hao is currently the king with 1002 points, surpassing Douyu Xiamaruki and ranking 6th. Above are the people from Dopa and Xiaoma. This season's top scorer is the easiest because he has a semi-activated system with world.class super intensity. After Li Jin's initial attempt at the strength given by the system, he was simply infatuated. After enduring for 3 years, I finally managed to make it through. However, rank is all about brushing points, and smaller accounts are better to play. Li Jin scanned towards the loading interface to see if there were any acquaintances. On my own side, sane on the road is Aluka, who was his junior in the Wii team and an old driver named Aruka. I changed my nickname, I don't think I can recognize this guy. Li Jin thought to look up again, and the blue one was even more eye-catching at a glance. This Ruiz Otto. After seeing the ID, he immediately became happy. It's not that Otto's strength is underestimated. Pixar's talent is still capable of playing professionally this year. During the summer season, HYG was renamed as SAT and recruited a group of veteran players, including A.Brother, STYZ, and Electric Stick. It's just that the wheelchair man has a bad mentality and is prone to explosions. If one's mentality explodes, then it's difficult to win this game. As soon as he entered the canyon, Li Jin bought the Holy Shield and 3 bottles of small medicine. Due to the use of the deceitful, secret reserve, talent, the potion will turn into a biscuit, extending the potion by 10%. First-level defensive positions on both sides, preventing the opponent from making visual invasions. It is rare in rank to be able to communicate at the level of changing lines, so there are not as many level 1 games. Li Jin cuts F3 to the excavator's perspective. This is a master who is less than 300 o'clock and has an ID on his head called, Little Woman Like a Cat. This ID may seem haunted during the day, but you can rest assured at night. Maybe the high-scoring licking dog is helping the goddess score. Sane helped excavators become popular, and it was obvious that they needed to find rhythm from top to bottom in the wild. The cost-effectiveness of catching titans was too low, and Ice Girl would also have this idea. Once there is no advantage in the early and middle stages, the red team will be the basic GG. Li Jin's hammer and stone burden is quite heavy. He and the Luthian players were the first to come down the road, and the regular Snatch 2 consisted of 9 minions, which meant eating the 3 melee soldiers in the second wave. Bard is a versatile choice, with a strong opponent in the early stages. Top Bard players understand card positions and use their Q skills to threaten and cooperate with teammates to advance, which can give them a lot of invisible pressure. For example, a player named Brother Genshin Impact. Li Jin is not sure about his AD level, so it is more secure to first go to the online card position and obtain the line rights. The excavator clearly typed to come down the road, and even Ice Girl could beat Ruiz 1 step. Shinjua brushes upwards, while Sane watches over the Titan. The biggest game point in the early stages is the down road. If the Mouse and Bard hold on, the blue team's winning rate will increase. Of course, communication in rank is not as close as professional competitions. The soldiers on the way down met at 1 minute and 48 seconds, and Li Jin reached an agreement with player A Bing from Luzian. Mouse Bud is quite stable. He only eats front row soldiers when he goes online late, and even if he gets stuck in position A, he doesn't get entangled. He stands steadily back. Watching the other person's movements, Li Jin had a sense of judgment in her heart. These two people are afraid of being hooked and unable to move forward. One way of thinking is to wait for the advance of the soldier line, because the soldier line will definitely approach the blue tower. As a result, the follow-up soldiers of the blue side will enter the battlefield first, and they will prioritize attacking the scattered red side soldiers, forming a gathering fire. And if our own red soldiers scatter and attack, there is a chance that Mouse Bud will have 2 to 3. In addition, Hammerstone Lucian is not a poke-type duo, and Bud can still make cappuccino, so there is not much pressure under the blue square tower. The main point is not to get caught. 2 small crispy skin, purified by a mouse, no healing technique, set on fire by a condom. Eating a set of level 2 Lucian and Hammer stones is basically fatal. Li Jin is very clear about the situation with the line, but he doesn't know what Mouse and Bud think. At 2 minutes and 32 seconds, Li Jin suddenly signaled Lu Zian to follow closely. Not caring about the remaining 3 ranged soldiers, both of them pressed towards the blue square tower at the same time. This wave of pressure is indeed due to the opponent's lower level than expected by Li Jin. Why dare the mouse in front of the tower dare to take a step forward? It's so Fangsi. The powerful World T0 level auxiliary strength instinctively makes Li Jin produce distance judgments. The mouse has reached a range of 900 yards. Li Jin took the opportunity to reverse his stance from a backward and eye-catching position, and suddenly walked towards the mouse, bringing the distance closer by 50 yards. The Q skill range of Hammer Stone is 1075 yards, and the distance is now beyond the prediction space. The initial movement speed of Hammer Stone at 335 points is also higher than that of the mouse at 330 points. Lu Zian fell behind 1 step, while Li Jin walked down and forced the mouse upwards. After causing the opponent to form a tendency to move in the first place, the death verdict, Q, was already taken without giving Bard a phone call. The direction of the hook is completely opposite to the direction of its own movement. It goes down and hooks up, using the pressure of its position to form a psychological game, forcing the opponent to move backwards and avoid the skill. The mouse did indeed turn back and instinctively turned its head to avoid Q, but it happened to collide with the Q skill judgment range of Hammerstone. With a clang, it hooked onto the hook. With a dong sound, it was untied. The mouse is purified in seconds. Mouse players are not stupid. Purification will have to be paid sooner or later. Later, they will be beaten to residual health by Lucian. Hammer Stone, who can't get better, still carries thunder. It will be too late to be ignited when waiting for it to be paid. Purification okay. Inside the hotel, Li Jin sneered in front of the screen. The mouse takes one more step, this game is over. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Happy farewell. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Happy farewell, ding. Ding. The excavator pin signal is on the way. The mouse cooperates with the Bada front station. Where there is purification, there is room for operation. Li Jin wants to cooperate with the wild crossing tower to kill the mouse, which poses a great risk. If Bard feints 2 red squares on the backhand and explodes on the spot, he can only bet on whether he can hit Bard, but killing Bard is far from making a profit from killing mice. Now that the mouse has purified itself and played with it, Li Jin believes that he is committing a crime. In just over 3 minutes, the excavator descended from the river and headed straight for the triangular grass. The suppressed blue square duo has no time to insert their eyes, and the opening accessory eyes are ineffective and lose their field of view. 3 minutes and 10 seconds, the red square is advancing forward. Li Jin observed the situation of the 4th wave of his own soldiers on the way down, in order to determine the specific location of the enemy soldiers. The mouse is repairing its sword under the tower, and the 4th wave of soldiers is about to arrive. Li Jin stared at the mouse and kept glancing at his position. Hammer stone piercing soldier Q can be divided into 2 types, which are relatively simple for stationary small soldiers. You only need to consider the small soldier model and the position of the opposing hero to achieve it. And it is quite difficult for mobile minions and mobile heroes. It is necessary to consider the comparison between the movement speed of the minion and the movement speed of the opposing hero, as well as the comparison between the hero model and the minion model, which greatly depends on proficiency. This is also a threshold for top-notch hammer stones. Li Jin, who is currently at the level of a world-class assistant, can easily cross the threshold when his mental state is in good condition. At this moment, the blue melee soldiers are about to push forward. The mouse hovered and moved by the soldier. The excavator is in position and wants to wait for the soldier line to pass before flashing and flying, to prevent the hammer stone Q skill from being blocked by the soldiers. If the mouse moves forward slightly, it doesn't need to carry the tower. But what surprised Lucian and excavator players was just as the position of the blue square soldier in the front row was about to coincide with that of the mouse, the soul lock warden who was shaking in front of the tower to find his position suddenly appeared. Q. A pale green hook almost brushed against the soldier's face and flew over. In the next moment, the soldier walked past the dismal green iron chain of the hammer stone hook. The other end of the hook made a crisp clang and landed on the mouse that had suddenly forgotten to flash. The excavator, dragging the mouse with the hammer, rushed up with Lucian in an instant. Bud weakened forward and gave Q to the excavator. Digging a tunnel with an excavator and flying to the edge of the tower to dodge Bud's dizziness, there are two golden lights in the air. The pendulum of misfortune, E. This E. skill is simply a stroke of genius. Not only does it sweep the mouse towards the outer side to make the short-handed Lucian feel comfortable, but it also does not damage the flying combo that the excavator is following. At the extreme frame, it puts Bard within the judgment range of the excavator breaking through the ground. The excavator player was startled. Hammer Stone was actually the first to flash, not only guessing Bud's movements, but also his movements. In the internet cafe outside the campus of Suzhou University of Science and Technology, a young man who helped the goddess work all night changed his face. Lu Xian's body-piercing holy light pierced through the two of them, and the excavator exerted full force to output the mouse. Li Jin ignited a thunderbolt on A, and Lu Xian fired two more shots to kill the level 2 mouse. Bard was disabled and handed over a flash, but Li Jin carried the tower and Lu Xian cooperated with a conscious excavator in advance to chase after Bard. 3 people took turns carrying the tower, and Lucian received the head of the baiter. Lu Xian is currently AT0 with a BP rate of nearly 90%. At this point, he has obtained 2 heads, and the mice and Bud have lost another large wave of troops. They will explode on the spot on the way down. Li Jin's troubles are not over. He gave his experience to Lu Xian and went back to the city to buy 5 speed shoes before sending a signal to Ice Girl. When I cut the screen and saw the Ice Woman operating the hammer stone on the way down, she immediately obediently controlled the troops in the middle and played flirtatious with Otto. Otto saw Ice Girl recoil and thought he was worried about playing wild, but Qinjue had already returned to the city. He saw through the Ice Girl's inner world, Fangsi's experience of greedy soldiers, and at the same time, he chatted with the live broadcast room and water friends, explaining why this wave of soldiers can be eaten. Unexpectedly, the hammer stone wearing the 5 speed shoes quickly came over from the river. This wave happened to have a small soldier online again. The electric baton frowned and prepared to retreat behind the soldier. Li Jin focused on the trajectory of the minions and Ruiz, confidently giving Q. The electric baton clearly saw the hook coming, but confidently believed that it could be blocked by a small soldier. However, the cunning laughter accompanied by a clang, and the exaggerated piercing hook made the live broadcast room of the electric baton a mess. Ice Girl's ability to keep up, all equiz given to Ruiz. Cooperate with the hammer and stone pendulum control to joyfully send the electric stick away. In the live broadcast room of the electric baton, the man in the wheelchair frowned and shouted. This person has a problem with his thinking. When the king saw the soldiers coming to seek stability, he would definitely wait for the ice woman to take the lead. I dodged the ice woman's lead. How dare he Q? How can I keep up with the silver segmented gambling thinking? 2NM jumped off. And this soldier's Nima is outrageous, it doesn't even stop the hook. What kind of designer's design is it? It's really frustrating to get off the road. Hammerstone ran away without sending a signal, and even gave 2 heads to Li Jin. Qianjue was staring at that B3 wolf for what? The electric baton, who was already kneeling, saw that his master was about to fail in the promotion competition. He was hooked and killed once in this wave, and suddenly became angry in all directions, clearly breaking through some defenses. The audience in the live broadcast room laughed heartily and enjoyed watching him get angry and frustrated. But the electric stick didn't even realize that this was just the beginning. The road ahead was completely suppressed, and Qianju only took a breath after going for a wave. In just over 6 minutes, the mouse was hit by a hammer and stone hook again, and managed to escape by relying on barred stun. Leave it to Li Jin on the way down, and Li Jin wanders again. The audience in the Auto Live broadcast room saw that at 6 minutes and 34 seconds, the green hook appeared and disappeared, poking out of F4 and hitting Ruiz with a bang. The prepared ice girl followed her skills, and the electric baton turned gray again. At 10 minutes and 3 seconds, the blue defense tower was pushed down the road, and the excavator followed Hammerstone to the middle. Ice Girl had just returned home when Ruiz, who had been knocked down, flashed out of the tower to eat soldiers. Otto was cautious this time and saw the Hammerstone coming directly into the tower through his eye position. However, Hammerstone relentlessly chased after him, constantly forcing Ruiz to take his place. Hammerstone threw the lantern and a flash flashed past. With a small technique, he pressed out the hook. The sensory illusion caused Otto to turn back and twist the hook, but he was hit by Q. The excavator stepped on the lantern and flew 1,500 yards, crossing the tower with Hammerstone and killing the dissatisfied electric stick. Stability is Fangsi, and crossing the tower is restraint. The extreme sleaziness of the down road, the middle road that Fangsi refuses to accept, everyone knows who to catch. I can't figure it out, how can this assistant bite me like a crazy dog? What's wrong with NM on the way down? Now 2 NCs have given Hammerstone Q confidence, otherwise how could it be so accurate? He can still spray it now. But as the game progressed, the electric baton was silenced. After playing for 19 minutes, the electric stick died 8 times, 8 of which were related to Hammerstones. As soon as the hammer and stone strike, the electric stick needs to return to the spring water for recuperation. He began to fear the hook, but the more afraid he was, the higher the hit rate of the hammer-stone hook. Now Otto's live broadcast room is littered with barrage. I knew from the ID of the hammer-stone that it was a person carrying it, I didn't expect it to be so fierce. Hammer-stone ID is indeed amazing. Free leather bag cutting, Chong, Brother Pai Bao. Why is the stick numb? I was drugged by Brother Pi Bao, right? Haha. I'm laughing to death, it's rare to be able to keep the electric stick silent. I'll go to the bathroom, and when I come back, I'll need all the information from Brother Pai Bao, otherwise I'll kill everyone here. Barrage after barrage, but the anchor remains silent. Everyone understands that this is a sign before a volcanic eruption. At 22 minutes and 9 seconds, Rez encountered another hammerstone in the grass of the river. This time, Otto pinched and flashed. He was dissatisfied and repeatedly twisted the deceitful hammerstone to make a hook, as if the victory or defeat of this game could no longer be compared to avoiding a hook. That's not a hook, but a heart demon. Wheelchair people need to slay their demons. Otto presses and flashes when the hammerstone moves, crossing the wall. However, Li Jin, who was already close, aimed at the position of the wall flash with Hammerstone and Ruiz as the points, presenting a 3-point line. Oh. Yes, it may get worse. Bang. That crisp sound was like a magical sound pouring into the ears of an electric stick, and there was also the mocking sound of hammerstones. This is like throwing 10,000 tons of explosives into a volcano, bang dot. Blow it up. The brain of the electric baton roared as the master once again failed to challenge. Being nailed to the super ghost shame pillar by a hammer stone. In various styles, Q becomes a collection. Thinking that I haven't retired yet, but no one wants to completely explode. Boom. The wheelchair user suddenly stood up, seemingly a medical miracle. I saw the electric stick lift its keyboard and crash it onto the desktop. It's like retaliating against Hammer Stone's actions, so satisfying, so exhilarating. Hook. I'll make you hook. What other means do you have besides hooking you? Is it so pleasant to hook me up? Dot. Bang 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 bang. The keyboard was scattered, and the sound of hitting the floor was like big beads and small beads falling on a jade plate. The ground was covered in debris. He once smashed the complete keyboard, and his angry roar turned into sadness. He really wants his career to start over again, and then he'll just grit his teeth. Crazy, the anchor is crazy. Ha ha ha, Brother Peebow happily sends away the electric baton. Isn't the anchor playing Swona? Take it out and play it, toot, toot. I'm really impressed. I was too busy yesterday and didn't come to scold the anchor. As a result, I was carried to Leshan to become a Buddha and only released it today. What's the situation now? Why is the anchor going crazy when he comes back? Encountering Brother Pai Bao, his soul was hooked away, laughing to death. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Blank 3 years, so mysterious. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Blank 3 years, so mysterious. Catching Ruiz again, Li Jin couldn't help but laugh. The electric stick is getting stronger, so if you don't flash first, you must wait for the hook. Li Jin still doesn't know what happened in the Auto Live broadcast room. After Ruiz was hooked, Lucien lit a lantern and flew over to cooperate with the hammer stone to kill the electric baton, and the red side opened fire on Baron Nash. At a huge disadvantage, the blue side chooses to snatch the dragon. It's actually meaningless to grab it, because Ruiz now has no keyboard, only a mouse, and after resurrection, he doesn't even have a quirr. The development of the mouse is extremely poor, and its output relies solely on a single player, Sen, who can't even handle it in the front row, let alone in the back row. The blue square near the magic frog shatters at a single touch and is traded for 0 for 3. For opponents surrendered, and players who didn't use the flash immediately pressed it out to celebrate. The camera moved and the blue square crystal hub exploded. The game settlement interface, players have not yet exited the room. Someone is typing and chatting. Please call me Zhonglu Weilong, Ice Girl. Hammer Stone Hi Play Brother, you have a great time. Li Jin is in a good mood and responds to him by typing. Free leather bag cutting. Not bad, just world.class level. The Ice Girl player didn't find him crazy at all and enthusiastically typed in response. Although Mata has a Hammer Stone champion skin, it's a pity that she didn't receive my recognition, but today I recognize you as the strongest. At an internet cafe in Wuhu, a young man with long hair took a sip of his warhorse and saw 2 lines of text flashing continuously on the chat screen. When you mention Mata, it reminds me of a past event. Free peeling bag, Hammer Stone. In the 2014 season, SSW had a dark-looking Zhao assistant who liked to play with Hammer Stone. I saw that his attitude was good, so I taught him the correct way to play with Hammer Stone. Later, he became the MVP of the global finals. Ha ha ha, the young man with long hair inside the internet cafe slapped his thigh and laughed heartily. SSW Zhao, who is the champion assistant Mata, is about to lead RNG and SKT in the mid-season semi-finals. I'm laughing to death, this guy can really boast. The young man with long hair was in a happy mood and immediately responded with a string of 666. Unexpectedly, Sean, who had been silent all along, suddenly typed and spoke. Aruka, Sean. Is that Brother Jin? Inside the hotel, Li Jin opened his mouth in surprise, and for a moment, he strategically leaned back. Out of politeness and curiosity, he still typed a response. Aren't you, Aru? You can recognize the nickname. Aruka. Because Ruofeng has been wanting to find you for a while, I noticed that your large account hasn't been recorded for a few days, so I guessed that you might be using a small account. Coincidentally, today is MSI's day off. When I saw what you just said, I asked, but I didn't expect it to be really, hehe. Li Jinruo was thoughtful. No wonder you, Cuddy, will bring your talent to the island in the future and be able to ride a motorcycle to help Wei Jiang search for bullets everywhere in 4 a.m. It turns out that your anti-reconnaissance ability has been fulfilled so early. What does Ruofeng want me to do? He typed on the keyboard. Aruka. To be precise, it was Zhao Jingshi who came to you. He should have been shocked by Jin Ji's performance in the past 3 years. He has won 3 championships, not a single LPL so far. Haha, that doesn't have much value, does it? Li Jinlu showed a hint of self-deprecation. Aruka. Brother Jin, now it's not the same as before. People in the professional circle who truly understand you dare not underestimate you. That year when you left I have been silently following you. Inside the hotel, Li Jinlu felt relieved. In 2012, WE's Team Irox was established, and Aruka joined at the invitation of team manager Beast to start his career by placing an order. On December 12 of the same year, due to a change in the competition system, Irox was renamed PE and established the PE Esports Club. More than a month later, LPL was officially born. Before Kkoma Bang activated his own system, Li Jin stayed at a club with Aruka and even played games together. He was his senior. Aru, we haven't seen each other for 3 years. Let's find time to gather after MSI. Aruka. Can you call Ruofeng and them? Li Jin thought for a moment and realized that Xia Chuang would definitely have contact with major teams, so he responded with yes. The two of them chatted as if there was no one around, but they looked at the person who had not left the room and was staring at the public screen dumbfounded. Erika is a professional brother, and they can get to know Qiu Mingshan's old driver. But who is this guy? It feels very mysterious. Ruofeng is also looking for him. Aruka calls him Brother Jin. What is the situation with 3 champions? Li Jin, who has always been behind the scenes, has very little fame and only a small group of people know about it. So suddenly it was mentioned that these people are filled with curiosity. Deep Brother, Blue Square Mouse. Excuse me, may I ask which immortal Pai Baogu is, and also a professional brother? Uncle Huiyu, Blue Bader. MSI. Haven't you heard of this ID among the contestants? Aruka began to explain, he is the SKT coach. He was a Samsung White coach 2 years ago, but he has been working in the background. Jin Go is very mysterious in the professional circle, and it's normal for you not to know. Aruka is polite and uses the word mysterious to describe it. Abandoned disciple of Qingyun Gate, Lu Zian. Wokeo, after searching on Baidu and flipping through several pages, I finally found it. S3, S4, S5, my mother, won 3 consecutive championships. Is it so scary? It's really fake. A world-class coach who won 3 consecutive championships helped me. I can explain, no wonder your hook is so divine. But why is there so little news? Aruka smiled and said, Brother Jin has always been behind the scenes, and he doesn't like to grab the limelight, so naturally not many people know. The people in the room were quite excited and chatted enthusiastically, even the brother across the street who had been eaten was calm. If you encounter such a thing in the middle of the night, you can brag about it tomorrow. In the Woohoo Internet Cafe, a female ice player sways her leathery sports chair, staring at her phone screen. The warhorse she just drank almost spits out in one gulp. Digging trenches. He is really trembling. Leaf Pig has an exclusive interview about champion-assisted Mata. A netizen asked. Mata and former SSW's fielding dandy have always cooperated well. After transferring to RNG, what are the differences between MLXG's fielding style and dandy's? How is the collaboration so far? What are the special points to pay attention to when coordinating with the Wild Auxiliary Tour? Mata. MLXG is a very ambitious player with an overly aggressive playing style, while Dandy is more conservative. I taught him a lot of skills in field play details, hoping to bring him some rewards. It is normal for Mata to impart experience to Xianghua. After all, his qualifications and understanding of the game are there. What's scary is the next interview content. Netizen asked. Mata really likes your assistance. I have always liked Hammer Stone, but it always doesn't hook well. Do you have any good gameplay? Mata. Practice hammering more, keep a calm mindset, and learn to predict. I have also practiced many times, and Coach Jin has given me a lot of advice. I didn't see much of this interview before, but I could easily overlook it at a glance. But now, the Ice Girl player's eyes are wide open. What are the last few words? Coach Jin gave me a lot of advice. Jin. Just now, Baruka called out Brother Jin and said he was one of the behind-the-scenes coaching teams for SKT and SSW. Combined with the chat above, just hit the nail. The Ice Girl player was excited all over, as if discovering a secret. She flipped up the room's public screen chat and scrutinized the line of words with her eyes. Free peeling bag, Hammer Stone. In the 2014 season, SSW had a relatively dark Zhao named assistant who liked to play Hammer Stone. I saw his attitude was good, so I taught him the correct way to play Hammer Stone. Later, he became the MVP of the global finals. That's too silly, it's not just bragging. He really taught Mata how to play Hammer Stones. No, take a screenshot. Screenshots of interviews on Leaf Pig are also required. So there is still this kind of hanging people, surprisingly not many people know. He searched for information about S3, S4, and S5 again, and all the highlights were from the contestants, with very few descriptions about Jin. Despite winning 3 consecutive championships, he personally witnessed today and his strength is very strong. Why are there so few records? The first 3 years were almost blank and only existed in the words and phrases of some professional players. About Jin, what exactly happened in that blank 3 years? It's too mysterious. The gaze of the young man with long hair condensed, creating a sense of mission. Instantly log into your Chiba account and post at the Luvi Sports. Shockwave. Behind the scenes, the mysterious Chinese coach Jin, come and see the secrets I've dug up. Despite many read-unread messages in the background, the long-haired man is preparing to post the post. I want more people to know. He thinks so. I didn't expect to receive a prompt. You were banned for 7 days for insulting someone. Nima's dog business. The long-haired man was angry and depressed, and in a hurry, he patted the esports chair and shouted towards the first floor. For the webmaster, make me a bucket of old pickled Chinese cabbage noodles, add 2 hams and a soy egg. When he looked back at the settlement interface, Pai Bao Ji's ID turned gray and he had already exited the room. Li Jin received continuous notifications of adding friends, and this feeling of recognition is very good. Everyone will like it. It's very normal that players in the same game haven't heard of him. Without highlighting in the game, behind-the-scenes analysts and coaching staff members are often forgotten. However, just like top-quality white jade will have a good price, brilliant pearls will not always be kept in the darkness. Li Jin's eyes are bright and lively. That day must be getting closer and closer. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Dark Age. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. For whom does the reign of glory reign? You are listening at novelfull.audio. For whom does the reign of glory reign? Okay. Upon hearing this, Kkoma was initially pleased, but seeing Li Jin smiling, she knew he hadn't finished speaking. SKT agreed to my terms, but I have no reason to leave. Li Jin counted his fingers for Kkoma to listen to. I want to play a game on stage, and before the game, I will choose which position to play for different opponents. I need the key rhythm command to enter the game. It's very simple, just these two requirements. This is obviously making it difficult for Kkoma, as neither he nor SKT can agree. Kkoma shook Li Jin's shoulder. Jinsi. Have you seen this SKT? We, who are already at the peak, will once again strive for the S crown. You and I will supervise together, and leave the affairs on the field to Xiang He and Juanji. In order to establish a prosperous dynasty, let us do our better work, okay? When Kkoma spoke, his voice remained soft and sincere as usual. Zhengjun, I'm afraid I'll disappoint you. Li Jin spoke with a hint of apology and a calm yet firm tone. He and Kkoma are mutual confidants, and Kkoma is a gentle coach who is easy to get along with and treats him well and with respect. But Li Jin won't hesitate on major matters. Zhengjun, let the management reconsider. If they agree, I am still willing to renew the contract. The clumsy chicken sighed lightly at the water dispenser, then slammed Li Jin with a gloomy pat, and furrowed his brow slightly, saying, I don't know if to say you're stubborn or if you have your own opinions. You always care too much about external opinions. Kkoma was quite talkative, but Li Jin quickly interrupted him without letting him continue his reasoning. Xianghe and his team will be back soon. Don't mention it beforehand, so as not to affect my mood of winning the semi-finals, let alone affect the subsequent finals. Let me start the system completely and steadily, Li Jin added in her heart. Kkoma shook her head, let out a sigh of anger, and looked at him helplessly. If Faker and others are his disciples, then Li Jin is his confidant. Therefore, Li Jin replied that Kkoma was somewhat disappointed. On May 14, the semi-finals between C9 and FW began. The focus of LPL fans is still on RNG's defeat in the semi-finals against SKT. Angry fans who were angry about the failure of the LPL team flooded into the live broadcast rooms of various social media forums and Chiba to fight about the major crimes committed by RNG in this series. Coach Fly should wear a helmet and try not to walk at night, as no one in RNG dares to watch the forum. Opponent fans laughed uncontrollably and stepped on it with sarcasm, causing skyscrapers to emerge endlessly in the E.Sports Louvre. The competition heat between C9 and FW is far from that. At this moment, RNG fans were holding a broken sword with no combat power to speak of. As their opponents trampled on them, they suddenly remembered a question in the haze of failure. Yeah, where is our team soul? Coincidentally, Mata shouted in an interview after the game that the AD he was most looking forward to for LPL was that chubby little guy. So, RNG fans lying on the edge of the abyss gathered their courage and shouted loudly towards the pitch-black abyss. Uzi. Uzi. Little Fatty, who experienced a 1-minute split between BO5 and Nakano, feels like an arrow returning home. An epic-class galactic warship is in the midst of preparation. It can be foreseen that there will be a magnificent summer. 3. On the afternoon of May 15, the North American Wings of Hope, which defeated the anti-Korean hero, collided with the powerful SKT. CLG has won one game against SKT in the group stage, but this is the final. SKT has entered full mode. Hard power, stronger SKT, playing tricks, SKT goes deeper. Compared to experience, SKT is a two-time world champion veteran. CLG played suspense in the game, but never managed to win it all at once. SKT's resilience is so terrifying. In 2 consecutive G3 battles, Hui used the Wandering Mage of the Snake Woman Kant Demon King. But the Snake Woman crets depends on the person. The Great Demon King leads Hui's economy by more than 5,000, achieving MVP with 6/1/8 of the data. Hui, who lost his Dragon King like losing an arm, is developing a core processor in the finals. The i5 has just been developed, and the competition is over. Coincidentally, both Shandong Dashan and Danya X Smithy were developed to the i5. Undoubtedly, he is a good brother in Weno, neat and tidy. SKT lifted the mid-season Golden Trophy at the Magic City Sea Championship and completed a Grand Slam. Li Jin stood on the podium with the SKT uniform team under the pull of Kkoma. Although the audience was very enthusiastic, he appeared calm. Because he receives awards every year. It sounds intimidating, but the focus is never on him. The applause and cheers made Li Jin's ears roar, and he could no longer hear what the DJ was broadcasting on site. Looking up slightly at the ribbons floating over the venue. For whom did this rain of glory fall? MSI is over. Congratulations to the host for winning the MSI championship, the system is fully launched. Loading in progress, the current progress is 1%. Li Jin trembled all over and smiled in front of the golden cup. No one can know what his smile is all about. There will be a lot of interviews with SKT players next, and the Big Demon King will be invited for an exclusive interview. The head coach, Kkoma, is extremely anxious. Although Kkoma mentioned Li Jin's role in some words, Li Jin is still sitting firmly in the background. Even the clumsy chicken who manages the water dispenser is busier than him. In the evening, they celebrated their victory in a private box at a barbecue restaurant. Li Jin accompanied them in joy and did not ruin everyone's good mood for the Grand Slam. They stayed in Mordo for a day and returned to SKT base the day after tomorrow. The summer tournament will be held in 2 weeks. Until the next day, Faker and Kkoma arrived at Li Jin and Benji's room together. Wearing black round-framed eyes and messy hair, the Great Demon King sat by the clumsy chicken bed and asked Li Jin seriously with a serious expression on his face. Zhengjun has already told us, is Li Jin really not staying? Why are you so charming? Can't you bear to let me go? Li Jin joked. Li Guapi is not as gentle as a buckle horse. If it were a buckle horse, I would definitely say yes and then give it another hug. And Li Guapi, I'm not that weak. It's just a pity for you. The Great Demon King swayed his hair and said arrogantly, when we celebrate the S-Crown this year, we won't have your share. Puff, Li Jin smiled and said, you should have said these things when you were interviewed yesterday. They confirmed from Li Jin's mental state that he had made up his mind to leave, so they stopped persuading him. Even without Li Jin, SKT is still the complete team. Previously, some insiders said that I am a koi, and good luck can bring good luck. Don't you worry that if I leave, there will be something mystical happening, and then you won't get the 3 crowns. Can you explain why we didn't win the 2015 MSI championship? Faker reacted extremely quickly and quickly identified the vulnerability. Li Jin waved his hand and said, I didn't go to Tallahassee in the middle of last season. During that time, I went back to China to visit my grandfather. I passed by Lingsha Road, and EDG was there. How about it, are you afraid? I won't be here in the future, so please be careful. The Great Demon King was too lazy to respond, he didn't believe in these mystical teachings. Sports, strength is king. Tomorrow we're going back to Mingdong. Are you going back with us? I'll leave it for now. LPL has several teams contacting me. I haven't found my next home yet, so my luggage will be temporarily stored at the SKT base. Deciding to return to LPL. Li Jin was actually not sure, he just said, LPL, NA, EU, and LCK, all have teams contacting me. Let's see which team who trusts me enough. Kkoma sighed lightly and took out a contract. This is the contract signed between Li Jin and SKT in 2015, which has now expired. Li Jin signed on the attached contract termination, representing his official departure from SKT and entry into the summer transfer market. I will make an announcement soon and report to the official authorities. Li Jin, thank you for your contributions to SKT behind the scenes. I'm really reluctant to part ways. Jin, there is no banquet that never ends in the world. Kkoma looked at Li Jin signing his name with some emotion. When the new version comes out in the future, he can no longer ask. Li Jin, what do you think? They talked about what had happened in the past 3 years, and then Bang and the others came over. They took a group photo in the room of the clumsy chicken. At 11 o'clock in the evening, everyone returned to their respective rooms. If Li Jin needs to send luggage, please let me know. Shanjiu did a great job, I should have had an easier summer competition, said the clumsy chicken, feeling relieved. Male, don't underestimate your own strength. In some situations, blank is still too immature. That night, Li Jin didn't fall asleep until early morning. He is very excited. Not because of the Grand Slam glory, but rather a free restlessness. An unknown longing and expectation for the summer of 2016. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Sage Mode. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Sage Mode. On the morning of May 17th, Li Jin waved at the roadside outside the hotel. Watching two Santanas leave, the SKT team is about to head to Pudong Airport and embark on their return journey. Li Guopi, who was sitting in the back car bidding farewell to Li Jin, withdrew his head from the car window and looked at the young man in sportswear in front of the hotel through the rear car window with reluctance. Jun, next time you meet Li Jin, you will be your opponent. Yeah, he's not that easy to deal with. His typical fame doesn't match his strength. Esports still relies on the player's performance on the field. Li Jin may be able to achieve the ultimate in off-field tasks, but who will execute them? The great Demon King said with ease and confidence, maybe the entire S6 won't touch him. Faker's words made a lot of sense, and when the foolish chicken remembered something, he chuckled and immediately crossed his lips, saying, Xianghe, Li Jin asked me to take a message for you. What words? He said. The foolish chicken imitated Li Jin's serious expression and tone. The love hidden deep inside is like a seed without water to irrigate, so pitiful that it cannot sprout. If you really love, then bring a rose and bravely express it loudly. Puff, the buckle on the passenger seat laughed. Faker rolled down the car window and turned around to find that the people on the roadside were nowhere to be seen. This annoying guy always says some despicable things. I really hope to teach him a good lesson on the field. On the other end, Li Jinjing rushed back to the hotel with an excited expression on his face, and quickly returned to his room to lock the door. Congratulations to the host, the system has been loaded and fully launched. Here we go. My proud cheat. In my mind, a passionate background sound rang out. The invincible strongest god. Don't doubt your own strength, don't doubt your absolute talent in 5 positions. Pick up your knife, stand up your stick, go kill. Kill all the doubters. When others are still discussing your FMVP on the road, you should immediately announce that you have brought your talent to the shooter's position, and then appreciate their brilliant expressions and fiercely slap their faces. When people prove that a player's energy is only enough to be extremely proficient in one position, you are a bug that they cannot fix with patches. The era of alliance with such limited imagination. You can shape the art style of the ultimate carbon-based creatures in the esports world. That's right, Li Jin excitedly and somewhat inflated as he looked at the complete version of the system. System status. Turned on. Host. Li Jin. 2016 main positioning. Auxiliary. Corresponding strength. T0, world. Class. Positioning enhancement techniques. Precise knife placement, sharp team opening, control skill prediction, and global perspective control. Secondary positioning in 2016. Ueno, Nakamura, and AD. Corresponding intensity. T3, in the top-tier league and downstream. Secondary positioning enhancement technique. None. Can consume cross-border positioning times. 3 times, initial 1 time, system fully open 2 times as a gift. Each time cross-border positioning is consumed, it can bring the host's T0 level strength to any position. Progress obtained. 835/1000 points. Point source. Honor rewards and competitions. Winning 1 world. Class and intercontinental competition earns 20 points, winning 1 regional league earns 10 points, and winning 1 top. Level regional master level or above rank earns 1 point. Progress of consumable skill lottery. 835/100 points, for every 100 points spent, 1 consumable skill can be drawn, with a chance to take turns. Current consumable skills. None. Exclusive item. Sage Notes. Flipping through the notes allows the host to enter Sage mode with a stable mindset, like an old monk settling down. System task. Random. System reward. Random. 2017 new main positioning opening condition. Winning the 2016 S.Series Championship plus Finals FMVP evaluation. Champion plus FMVP. This requirement is higher than 3 or 4 floors. Seeing the end, Li Jin was very excited and cautious. Although there were multiple positioning attempts this time, which allowed him to achieve professional strength in the other 4 positions, after all, there was only T3, far less than T0, and the upper limit was not that high. In terms of cross-border frequency, it is still too few. This means that his plan needs to be slightly changed, and the screening requirements for summer teams must be raised. Plus, this is S6, so Li Jin's pressure is quite high. He picked up a small black notebook on the table while pondering. It was only the size of a palm, very compact, and could be easily carried in his pocket. The Sage's Note. Li Jin curiously opened his small notebook. There was nothing special about it. Suddenly, as he flipped through the blank notebook, Li Jin's expression changed suddenly and he entered Sage mode. He has no joy or sorrow, and his mentality is so stable that it feels like an ancient well that has been abandoned for millions of years. Even if a lady dressed as a cat scratched her head and let out a friendly long moan in front of him, Li Jin would never take a second glance. Even if he is surrounded by people from all over the world, he can remain indifferent. There is only one belief in my heart, and that is to win the game. This state can be switched freely, and Li Jin can become a normal mindset at any time. Sleeping trough, divine tool. Li Jin was overjoyed. It goes without saying how important a mindset is for a player. He couldn't help but think of C9's assistant Lemonation, who is a master of software engineering. Before the 2014 competition, he looked through the Death Notebook and arranged Mr. Die and Heart from Samsung Blue clearly. Lemonation holds the Death Note, and it is reasonable for me, as a coach, to switch players, to flip through the tactical notes before the game. Li Jin smiled and shifted his attention to the consumptive skill lottery. Drawing 100 points once is too unscrupulous. He spent 100 points in pain to try the water. The most terrifying thing about a lottery is that the probability cannot be seen. Li Jin only wants to taste something new and will never gamble. He saw many light balls flying in his brain and finally heard a click sound, like the sound of glass shattering. The host has no chance to participate in this round of lottery and enters the protection ad mode. The host adds 100 points each time, and the third time adds 100% extraction skills. The current protection progress is 0/3. Nima. Why is the taste of this lottery so familiar? Li Jin's face turned black, and he spent another 100 points on it. Click. The current protection progress is 1/3. Now Li Jin doesn't have to hesitate, nor do he have to think about the hard work of strengthening his liver day and night and earning points. After finishing the 300th point, I finally heard a ding sound. Like the crisp sound of jade objects colliding. Congratulations to the host. Consumable skill. Dragon Man's Itch X1 was drawn this time. Dragon Man's Itch. An enhanced skill from We Dragon Man that can be triggered when an opponent hits a big or small dragon. A slight itching at the base of the thigh is the perfect moment to grab a dragon. Note. The more chaotic the game scene, the higher the success rate of dragon snatching. We Dragon Man. Li Jin's expression was quite brilliant, and a Dragon Man Bible flashed through his mind. I know you are good to me and I love you, but I really can't change it. Undoubtedly the strongest divine system, it has evolved skills from the Bible. A crucial dragon is enough to change the outcome of a game. The itch of a dragon man is indeed practical. But thinking of the triggering conditions, Li Jin's face slightly changed color. That's too difficult to talk about, isn't it? Recalling the 300 points he had just lost, Li Jin painfully opened the sage's note. Sure enough, the inner emptiness was suppressed. Not long after, Li Jin's phone vibrated with a beep. He received a call from Aruka, agreeing to meet at noon. I originally intended to have a small gathering with the old friend Cuddy, but now it has become a negotiation with the Wii team. However, our strength this season is not bad. On the road at 9:57, he was a wild dragon man who was single at night. On the way down, he was his uncle and his wife Zero. These people were quite unfortunate and ended up falling in front of IM. We are one of Li Jin's potential successors, and if the uniform team can follow his advice, there will still be some opportunities for improvement this season. Moreover, after running away from Wii for 3 years, returning now really feels like a king's return. Li Jin couldn't help but laugh, looking forward to the meeting with Wii. He flipped through his phone again and found the SKT information sent by Kkoma, confirming that coaching staff member Li Jin had left the team. Of course, compared to the huge attention Uzi gained in the summer window, only a very limited circle noticed him, and the vast majority were people within the professional circle. Li Jin has added many contract negotiation invitations on his phone, and MSI's victory has made these teams value him even more. Although he has not gained fame behind the scenes, his championship achievements may seem intimidating to some in the professional community. If we don't consider this season's championship and FMVP goals, he doesn't have to worry about a well-paying job now. Li Jin replied to all the messages left on his phone, including greetings from his parents in his hometown of Wuhu. At 9:15 in the morning, he dressed neatly and looked in the mirror in the bathroom. The white and clean skin doesn't look like the late-night Liver Emperor at all. Under the neat and smooth eyebrows, the eyes are black and deep, which makes Li Jin smile with a mysterious feeling. In terms of appearance, he is superior to Peak Peanuts and Peak Ashui, with a height of 178. If he doesn't show any expression, his temperament is calm and elegant, which is related to being a coach for 3 years and staying behind the scenes. With a narcissistic smile in the mirror, Li Jin put on his room card and closed the door before setting off. Today will be a new beginning. 5,000 words a day, the author is really diligent, hey. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Multi-Party Dialogue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Multi-Party Dialogue. I've been waiting for a long time. Brother Jin, we just arrived too. In the large hotel next to the Huangpu River, Li Jin walked into a private room and saw Aruka, Ruofeng, and manager Zhao Feng from Wii. Zhao Feng is one of the members of the club's management team and can represent the meaning of Pei Lu. Pei Lu is not only the founder of the Wii team, but also a veteran figure in the field of Chinese esports. He has trained people like Emperor Sky and Infi from his hands. Aruka and Li Jin exchanged a word, and the big nose sitting in the seat warmly stood up to greet them. Li Jin, long time no see. It's been over 3 years now, and you're much more handsome than before. Gao Xuecheng and Ming Kai will surely envy you if they see you. Li Jin smiled and said to himself that we value ourselves quite a lot, otherwise our big nose wouldn't be so polite. The Wind team is as magnificent as the others. Faker often tells me that if the opponent is a mid-lane killer, even he has to be cautious. Manager Zhao couldn't help but laugh. Li Jin may be talking nonsense, but if the Wind doesn't close his mouth after hearing it, the great Demon King is currently in the limelight. They chatted a little before the waiter started serving the dishes. Special dishes such as Songjiang calcium fish, chicken bone sauce, and osmanthus meat are often ordered. If Feng was invited by Manager Zhao, he has the most common topics with Li Jin and can recall S2 during meals. For example, we competed against CLG in the quarterfinals. The EU's 8-hour online battle ultimately ended in defeat. For example, in 2012, from the start of IPL 5 to the second year of LPL Spring, we set a record of 48 consecutive wins. For example, due to the TGA Winter Championship, we became the first team to qualify for the competition after LPL officially landed in China in 2013. Although Li Jin, who was a substitute for the first team at the time, did not have such high participation, time has passed and he is now a common topic that can be discussed. Manager Zhao talked about the current Wii and their imagination of the summer competition. They also asked about Li Jin's experience of winning 3 championships while coaching at OGN, and Li Jin did not hide anything. He explained his work of analyzing versions, arranging player training, reviewing, researching BP tactics, and so on. The 3 of them, Ruofeng and Manager Zhao Aruka, had bright eyes. This is called a major. Manager Zhao sighed inwardly. Professional esports coaches are far more than just BP and review. They also need to find ways to twist the 5 players into one rope, making them aware of their problems and shortcomings from the bottom of their hearts, and improving their strength, thereby establishing a professional, formal, and strong team. However, this is difficult. The contestants have different personalities, and young people who can play professionally are somewhat arrogant. Why do these people listen to you? Manager Zhao looked at Li Jin and felt that the problem was solved easily. This person in front of me has 3 S. crowns and 1 MSI crown. The people he leads are all top players in the world, although not well known, their results are at the level of reinforced concrete. After joining Wii in the future, they made a big fuss, and it was the celebrity coach who strongly joined Wii. With just a little bit of gimmick, the summer tournament started. Looking at Li Jin's appearance again, Manager Zhao was even more satisfied. Miss 60E, are you interested or not? He was excited in his heart, seeing that the food was about to be eaten, and his emotions were also in place. Knowing that there were several teams watching closely, he came straight to the point and wanted to finalize the matter. Li Jin, I think you are a perfect match for Wii. We can provide you with a satisfactory salary quote, and you can rest assured of the team's status. The right to speak must be in place. Starting from the summer competition, I hope you can join Wii. Li Jin looked at the cheerful Manager Zhao and felt a good impression in his heart. Although this season is full of challenges for us, we can still give it a try. He was about to speak when Manager Zhao, who had paused for a moment, said the following words. You are in charge of WE's teaching whip. By honing your championship experience, these talented young people will surely shine even brighter. Whip. A teaching whip. Li Jin was slightly surprised, but on second thought, all he had been talking about was his coaching experience, and that's why he came here. Wait a moment, there's a sentence I didn't make clear. I parted ways with SKT because there was a disagreement over the arrangement of the summer tournament. They want me to continue being a coach, but I want to play games. After Li Jin finished speaking, he noticed that the expressions of the three people across from him had changed. Then, he repeated the two conditions he had told Kkoma. "Brother Jin, are you not joking?" "Of course I am serious." After Li Jin answered Aruka's words, if Feng didn't speak, he looked at manager Zhao, who was thinking with one hand resting on his mouth and nose. "Well, there's still some time left in the summer transfer window." Manager Zhao smiled politely and said, "Both of us need to reconsider, after all, it's a big deal related to a season." "It should be, Feng, what do you think?" Ruofeng said, "I feel that Li Jin has the ability, otherwise he wouldn't have taken the risk of running away from SKT. Aruka persuaded on the side, Brother Jin played very well with his assistants. He was able to reach the top 10 in the Chinese server on the big account, and we played in double rows. We were also surprised by his actions." Upon hearing this, manager Zhao let out a slight sigh. "I understand what you're saying, but only he and SKT have the clearest understanding of why he left. If Li Jin were to become a coach, there would be no problem with me using the budget to offer a high salary for recruitment. He has a certain level of skill. However, when it comes to playing games, as an operator, I have to consider the risks when giving him a salary. Before coming, there was no contingency plan, and he has not proven himself in professional competitions. Our starting lineup is becoming more stable, and we can still try and make mistakes in the spring season. In the summer season, we need to compete for spots in the S game, and changing the lineup also requires adjustment, which may damage the previous system. He is not like Mata. Mata can serve as a team leader as an assistant because there is practical evidence, but Li Jin does not. So, as a player, how can he convince his teammates to control the key rhythm command? The players on the team are not that talkative, I don't want to cause a new round of conflicts. And, he has missed the golden age of a professional athlete." After listening to him say a lot, both Aruka and Ruofeng fell silent. Indeed, the summer race requires a full sprint. Whether to participate in the S competition or not, the team's attention and influence are completely two levels. "Okay, you guys go first. I'll persuade Brother Jin to change his mind. Coach of the Triple Crown, it's a pity to suddenly switch players." Aruka volunteered bravely. Ruofeng and manager Zhao patted Aruka's shoulder separately. "If we can do it, Aru will be our hero." Afterwards, Aruka returned to the Huanpu Hotel to talk to Li Jin. He wants to persuade Li Jin to the coaching seat and join we smoothly. But less than a cup of tea. Aruka sighed and said, "Brother Jin, I completely support you." When Aruka bid farewell to Li Jin by car, his heart was filled with ups and downs, and he was impressed by Li Jin's pursuit spirit. Jump out of the powerful comfort zone of SKT and pursue your boundless dreams. How many people in the entire professional circle have such courage? So what about being 22 years old? It can still be the beginning of my career. If I don't even have the courage, would S3 dare to take the step towards OGN that year? Aruka's mind echoed with Li Jin's words, as well as his resolute gaze and confident handsome face. Brother Jin is really special. Inside the taxi, Aruka murmured. Li Jin's words also shone on him, and combined with his career, Aruka was greatly touched. On the other end, Li Jin didn't think too much. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he met again with people from the OMG operations department. A pleasant conversation ended when Li Jin said he wanted to become a contestant. After hearing his specific requirements clearly, the OMG manager said, "Give each of us some time to calm down." Then he ran away. In the evening, Abu and a young man with a pot lid appeared in front of Li Jin. Like Ruofeng meeting, Li Jin exchanged a few pleasantries with the factory director. When they introduced serious topics, Abu, who was originally very talkative, appeared somewhat silent after Li Jindao's thoughts. Or rather, Abu didn't turn his head around and didn't know what to say. It's like hearing Uzi suddenly say, "Brothers, I'm playing Aso." The visual perception varies greatly. The factory director advised a few words, but he found out that someone is not good at oil and salt. Li Jin, join EDG's coaching staff, the club won't treat you unfairly. He was extremely sincere, but Li Jin still declined. Why? Unrealistic dreams. The factory director and Abu studied Li Jin's dream and eventually left, leaving only one sentence. Good luck to you. The concerns of these teams are similar to those of the previous WE manager Zhao. However, there are also teams full of sincerity. The next day, RNG's fly coach and the operations department came over to invite Li Jin. No problem, we can arrange for you to play in the game, whether it's rotating with Mata or playing in other positions, we can discuss it. If you have command, as long as you have a few trial matches without any problems, the club can also agree. Why do you have so much confidence in me? Li Jin was puzzled. The person in the operations department was wearing a white shirt, but he was straightforward. Because you have value, once you come to RNG, we will help you plan and promote your reputation from within your professional circle to outside. In today's LPL environment, there will definitely be many fans interested in you. Another point is what Mata told us. Coach Fly continued, he said you are very special and an important part of winning the championship. Li Jin does not dislike their honesty. RNG currently gives the most trust to several teams. However, he immediately saw a thick contract handed over by the operators. In addition to a base salary of 30,000 yuan, there seems to be a lot of room for salary increase as there are additional expenses such as performance, personal data, and fan influence. Just portrait rights usage, attendance at commercial events, advertising endorsement, and personal value development. Li Jin saw a bunch of terms, including convoluted transfer terms and instructions on priority renewal, and he wanted to sign a 3-year contract with Li Jin. I feel RNG's sincerity and I will seriously consider it. Previously, it was other teams who left a message and then ran away, but now it has become Li Jin who left a message and ran away. Nima not running is really not good. Once the contract is signed, I become a mascot. That evening, Li Jin returned to the hotel window and looked out at the night scenery, blowing the evening breeze, feeling quite melancholy in his heart. Do you think so? Is it so difficult to find a team that trusts me? Can't we play trusty sports for one season? Verbal communication may not work, we need to go to the team and try out like a newcomer, so that those teams can see his competitive ability. Li Jin doesn't really want to take this step. I'm too frustrated. I just won the MSI championship and have to endure hardships again. However, at 8 o'clock prime time, a sincere phone call arrived on his phone. The next chapter is correcting typos quickly. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Koi Carp. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Koi Carp. This phone call is really like a beam of light in the darkness. To what extent is there sincerity? Manager Mao Mao, Coach If, and team leader Cindy take turns answering phone calls, expressing their sincerity from various perspectives. Li Jin chatted with them for nearly 15 minutes. Even the arrangement of the team's summer games, appropriate tactics, and specific training plans were discussed. They respected Li Jin, and Li Jin responded with some constructive suggestions. Unfortunately, he can only refuse the other party's punches and grandiose gestures. Sat. Li Jin smiled bitterly and tapped the table with his hand. Good brothers, you have sincerity, but it's useless for me to come. On the road, Brother A is currently in retirement mode, and playing single electric baton matches is like Pixar's Pillar Power. The hero he has used the most throughout his career is Lulu. Styz used to be a genius and an idol of SMLZ, but after a ban, he disappeared from the crowd. Li Jin only has a small number of cross-border battles, which is his trump card for changing the team's formation. Most of this season, he still needs to play auxiliary roles. So, who will see join the SAT? The SAT summer record is 1.15, 1-1 in the league. Li Jin's sweat is on his face. His cross-border combat skills may only be used to play relegation matches. What I want is a world champion, not a relegation emperor. So, SAT cannot go, he still has to think about the future. On May 19, Li Jin waited for another team with sincerity. They are LGD. This reminds Li Jin of a past event. In 2013, there was a disappointed young man in SKT who struggled with his age after several failures. Li Jin once enlightened him, awakened him, and became a mentor-like presence in his career. This matter is unknown to the outside world, but one person in LGD is well aware of it. That's right, he's the champion that LGD paid a high price to sign from SKT this year, and he's single ma run. So it's not surprising that LGD can make this sincere phone call. He asked the LGD operations department if there is room for adjusting the lineup. The other party gave a negative answer, and they also hope to have a detailed discussion at the base regarding Li Jinding's match. After all, PYL is LGD's famous Grim Reaper, and the optimistic family loves to watch this, so it's easy not to let it go off the stage. Finally, Li Jin and Ma Run chatted for a few words and said they wanted to consider it before hanging up the phone. It's very difficult to play without adjusting the lineup. In the era when the two kings set out for war, the flaws were too great. Unless everyone's opponent is SOFM, even if they play in the World Tournament, such obvious flaws are difficult to defeat top teams. Li Jinchang took a deep breath and put aside the invitations from the EU and NA sides for the time being, carefully counting the LPL teams for this season. Deep down, he still regards LPL as his first choice. In situations where the number of crossover attempts is limited, even if he is a T0 level assistant, he still needs to eat his teammates. Mata doesn't have good teammates, and he can't win either. The good news is that Li Jin received several phone calls from the LPL team, such as Snake, NB, and IG. He has finally gained some popularity within the professional circle. But the bad news is that they all hire him as a coach. Li Jin felt a bit depressed inside. Is there really no team that can give me more trust and make my thoughts clear? Depressed Li Jin fought all night in Ionia. In the early morning of that day, Dong Xiaosa formed the TCS team base. A young man with thick eyebrows stared fixedly at an ID on the settlement interface. Free leather cutting bag, hello, Lu Qingsong, I have encountered a perverted hammer stone. Lu Qingsong leaned his head and said, oh, this ID is indeed quite abnormal. No, it's just abnormal strength. I doubt if I have a magnet on me. This hammer predicted that I would hit 6 or 7 times in a game, almost all of which were terrifying. Does he have mind-reading skills? Lu Qingsong said, take a good attitude. We just won the City Heroes Championship and will be playing LSPL in the summer. There are more experts there. A mountain is even higher than another. Lin Weixiang shook his head and said, this hammer stone is not an ordinary mountain. I have encountered many hammer stones, and this person is really different. Top-tier leagues are rare. Are you playing with Knife Girl? Lu Qingsong tore open his wound in anger. I really don't have it, my little cannon. He hooked me up. W was taken down by him, and I was thinking about it. Mata nickname. On May 20th, due to the homophonic meaning of love, flower shops sold more flowers, adult goods stores attracted more customers, and some hotels were also overcrowded. In the afternoon, PDD was very excited and took a walk by the Huanpu River with Shen Minmin on this loving day. What makes Sister Shen somewhat dissatisfied is Lu, this uninteresting pig, is still carrying a pony behind him. Isn't this a 100,000-volt light bulb? Isn't throwing a snake into someone's house quite romantic back then? Brother Lu, Sister Shen, look at it. What? Xiaoma pointed to the Huanpu River, and the prostitute teacher and Shen Lingmin got closer and took a closer look. I saw a beautiful red koi swimming in the river, so lively and agile. It's really beautiful. What a good omen. The prostitution teacher was extremely excited, grinning as he took out his phone to take the next photo. Yer shout, this is a koi. Not to mention the landscape pool, it is rare to encounter it in the river water. It's a coincidence that we came today. He explained and did not forget to post pictures to share with his friends. Brothers, today I saw a koi swimming freely in the Huangpu River. There must be good things happening in the future. Wishing all the brothers who see this picture good luck. When he turned back to look at the river, there were only wild waves, and the beautiful koi was nowhere to be seen. When Li Jin woke up in the afternoon, it was almost 4 o'clock. He went crazy last night and ran until 8 o'clock this morning. Just because of inner turmoil. If there is no further progress in the transfer, he must come to contact the team for a trial. With his current identity, he can serve as a stepping stone for any team's trial. Li Jin is also confident that he can use his world-class strength to join the team during the trial. However, there is always a thorn in my heart, not so refreshing. In the past 3 years, as the mastermind, I have been eager to gain recognition and trust. When Qianli Ma encounters Bull, it will shout loudly and its voice will soar into the sky, which is probably the reason. Li Jin found that there were many missed calls on the silent phone. There is also a message reminding you that the bank has received 2,000 yuan. Except for one number with a note, all other phone numbers are the same and come from the same person. At such a sensitive time now, it is very likely that it was a call from a certain team. Li Jin quickly washed up and drank a large glass of water, ready to call back. Unexpectedly, the phone got stuck at exactly 4 o'clock and called again. Hello, may I ask who is there? The Jin, you finally answered the phone. Excuse me, have you signed a contract with the team now? I'm sorry, I just called now. I missed the announcement sent by SKT that day and only saw it today. On the other end of the phone, there was a very urgent female voice, even a bit nervous. But her tone made Li Jin sound very comfortable. Many teams are interested, but haven't signed yet. I'm hesitating. Great, great. Listening to the commotion on the other end of the phone, Li Jin smiled and asked, may I ask who you are? Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm Jin. Nof and I are looking for you everywhere. End of this chapter.